What's up, you guys? So today I'm going to do the oil change on my DD15 on the Freightliner Cascadia. It's a 2015, and I'm going to show you the basic tools that you're going to need. The ratchet, I got a 36 millimeter with a extension on it, a pick to take the gasket off the covers. This is the wrench. This is just for the diesel filters, and some napkins and a funnel, and then all the oil, and the here's the oil filter. Here's the serial number, the part number. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use your socket. I do recommend, there's a lot of videos out there that have that show these other little valves that you could put on these to drain the oil much simpler. I definitely recommend that. I don't have it yet, but I will get one. I already kind of cracked this open a little bit, so you use your ratchet and stick it in here and loosen it. So what I'm going to do now is just try to get a little closer. Make sure you get your pan in a good position. I'll loosen it. There it goes. Just make sure you got your pan in a good position to catch it. So we're gonna let that drain, and I'm gonna start taking out the filter. All right, so while that's draining in the bottom, I'm gonna open up the filler cap. That way it'll drain a little faster and get some ventilation. And then I'm gonna take my 36 millimeter, get it on the cap, and then just crank it. I'm gonna have to put my phone down and use two hands because it's a little tight. All right, so I actually have to use the breaker bar, the long breaker bar that I have here, just to loosen it because it was kind of tight. So now I can go back to my regular ratchet and do the rest by hand. And so what I did, because it was pretty cold last night, I actually turned the truck and warmed it up a little bit just to get the oil warm and not so thick. That way it'll drain a little easier. Here, I loosened it all up. It comes right out. I'm just gonna let it sit here for a minute and let it drain a little bit before I take it out completely. Just let it sit on the side there, just like that. Let it drain, and then I'm gonna start getting the new filter ready. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna take this out. Just snaps right out, and that's what I use the other spare bucket for. Just throw it in there. Any extra oil, just dump it in here. I'll take a napkin here, rag, clean it up, clean up the inside. Kind of inspect it a little bit, see if there's any kind of dirt or any kind of metals or anything in there. Make sure it's nice and clean on the outside. Nice and clean. So here we have a when you're gonna take off the old O-ring, there's a little notch in here. You just stick your pick in there, pull out the old one, just like that. Put it in the box. You have your new filter, and you have an O-ring in here. Make sure the cap is clean where the O-ring is going to sit. Don't want any grime or any dirt or in there. Just make sure it's nice and clean. Just like that. New one. Just put it over like that. It'll fall right into place. Just like that. People use new oil just to lubricate it. I mean, it's just for lubrication, so I just use the same oil that's in the cap. Just like that. Now what I do is you take the new one and you just snap it back into place. So you hear the little snap like that, the little click, and that is ready to be reinstalled. So I'm gonna take you over to the truck and install the new filter. All right, so now we're back at the truck. Just gonna install a new filter. Slides right back in. You can start hand tightening it. Just like that. Once it gets a little tight, you go back to your wrench. Just start tightening it up. So these caps, and it's marked right on there. It's kind of tough to see because of the sun, but it's got the specifications of the torque. But I don't have one of those ratchets with the torque, so I just know that I'm going to change it to my breaker bar. I just know that when it gets tight, somewhat, like now, it's kind of tight. I just give it a little bit of a tug, just to make sure that it's really snug, but not too much, because you can easily break that cover. It's just plastic, or you risk on breaking the housing, which is even worse and more expensive to fix. So, all right, so your filter's in. And I'm gonna go put the plug back in the oil pan, and then it'll be time to fill her back up. All right, so we're back under the truck. I finished draining, so I just placed the cap in there, but we gotta just tighten the cap. Here's your socket, and your ratchet. extra. Keep it nice and clean. That's it. Now we'll have to start adding the oil. All right, so these buckets got a little notch area where you just knock it in just for ventilation, so when you're pouring it, the air vents out. And you just pull up these tabs. Pull this up. Got the smaller one. We're good. We'll start adding this oil. So what I usually do is I add 10 gallons to 2 5-gallon pails, and then I'll check my measurements, see how much more I need. Might need just 1 more gallon, might need 2 gallons. But I start off with 2 5-gallon pails, and I definitely know it's going to take at least 10. And then after I do the 10, then I'll start doing 1 gallon at a time. Alright, so that's the first 5-gallon pail. I'm going to add the second one, and then I'll measure it. Alright, so I put the 10 gallons in, and I'm going to check it with the dipstick now, see how low it is. I don't know if you could see it, but there's a minimum amount, there's a mark for the minimum, and there's a mark for the maximum. And typically, if it's at the minimum, you add about a gallon, and that'll bring it up to the maximum amount. So we're going to check to see where it's at with 10 gallons. See if it even reads anything. So it looks like it's reading all the way up. I'm going to do it again. But mind you, it hasn't circulated through the engine or anything or in the. So let's see, we'll try it again and see what happens. It might only take 10. So I'm reading right at the max. So I'm showing that it's already all the way up just with 10 gallons. So some people say 11. Some even said 12, which that's a little bit much, I think. And then I did 10, and it read to the maximum. So what I'll do is I'll run it. I'll turn it on and run it a little bit, and maybe check it again after a little while. We'll check it again. But if that's the case, if I got add another gallon, then I'll add another gallon. So that's about it, guys. That's how I do my oil changes. It's a little tough with one hand and trying to record it, but it's that simple, very easy, and you save yourself hundreds of dollars. Somebody might charge you a couple $100 just to change your oil, or maybe with your filters, your fuel filters, which that's going to be my my next video. I'm going to do my fuel filters next, and then I'll see you in the next one. God bless.